Welcome back to DocTalk, everybody. So I really hope you enjoyed our last show. And our last show was called ATP Immunity, okay? And this show is going to be called what? It's going to be called Chelation, Immunization. Now, why is that? Well, basically because guess what? Fulvic is the best chelator in the world. And we're going to show you that our fulvic is different than all the rest. And we know that also that humic, why do we call it an immunizer? Well, because what humic does, it balances the hormones, which is one of the most important things in creating an immune system in the body. And the next thing is guess what? You know what humic loves to do? Well, let's put it this way. If you take humic each and every day, anything that might come in and terrorize you, any type of microbes, it will encapsulate those microbes like a mummy. It'll encapsulate, shut them down, and carry them out of the body. Now, let's say that you weren't doing humic each and every day, and you got a bug. Well, let's put it this way. If the bug gets into the cells and you start doing humic, it stops it from going into the other cells. So this is why we tell everyone that, to do our concentrated humic and to do our fulvic, or at least do our Tummy Love product, because what that does is it provides humic and fulvic, and it also restores your good bacteria, right, Joshua? And Joshua is our alchemist. So what do you think, Joshua?
Yes, the humic is an immunity all on its own, because it puts what they call a prophylactic coating on viruses' receptor sites and stops them from attaching to the host cell. And so it's...
And that's amazing in itself.
It's its own immunity right there, separate. And it will also, the humic will also help to strengthen your own immune system. But the humic does its own work. It's its own immune booster or stopper. I mean, it stops all viruses, and that's from the National Institute of Health. So should have been front page news 2002 when the publication came out. Like, folks, we found it. It's the end of all vaccinations. We've got it over here. Unfortunately,
you can't patent nature. But before we go any further, can you do me a favor? Can we go in and talk about our humic and fulvic, where it comes from, where we get it, why we picked it from this place, and what we do differently than other humic fulvic and the way we process it? I'd like people to know.
Okay, well, first of all, our humic powder that's in here. This is the black gold. This is the powder that we extract the humic and the fulvic out of. Now, this powder comes from it's mined. And it comes from a coal mine, but it's not actually the coal itself. It's a layer above the coal called the overburden, and in there, the humic in there it comes from lignite coal. So, but it has too low of energy for them to burn, and so it's considered a waste for them. But for us, it's full of nutrients
and where does it come from? Like, where did it originally come from? We know it's millions of years old, right?
It's ancient, decayed plant material
that the dinosaurs used to eat. And guess what? Where most of the dinosaurs were found, is where, like, there's a place in Alberta where you can go and most of the dinosaur findings, the bones, skeletons, this is where that comes from. So, we know that they liked eating this plant life at one time.
And the plant life was much healthier at that point. So
yeah,
and so from that point, it's the extraction process. The initial extraction is food grade potassium hydroxide, and it's the only chemical that's used in the beginning, and most of it's all used up in the alchemical process, because when you get done, it's not.
It doesn't show up in the product.
It doesn't show up in the product,
and it's not toxic either.
It's not toxic, but from there, the rest of the extraction process is done with water and what they call mechanical, because it's screens and things. But virtually where the technology is at now, we can dial in what size of molecule we want. And so the fulvic actually comes out of is humic acid. It's just a smaller molecule. Yes, so our humic is put through a process. In the initial process, they use potassium hydroxide, food grade, and that's basically used up in the initial separation process. And from there, they use purified water and screens, and it gives us a different quality of humic and fulvic than
what's on the market today.
Than chemically extracted,
Yeah.
because you get way different molecules that you don't get in the chemical extraction process.
And the other thing is that only 2% of the actual humic fulvic on the market has not been done or extracted through chemicals.
Through chemicals.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes. And so the result is that we have a superior humic and fulvic, and the proof of that is in our fulvic and the eye drops. And when you can put the fulvic directly into your eyes, you know that there's no it's not toxic.
Yeah, so you can put bright eyes into your eyes. You can put it into your ears. You can put it basically into any orifice. And explain what the fulvic does so people understand that.
Well, first of all, fulvic is called the miracle molecule, and it will attract to itself 3 times its own weight in heavy metals or radioisotopes and alter the ionic form so your body can safely detox it. And then you're not peeing the toxins back out into your environment.
And the other thing is, if I can say something, so how important would this be when somebody's getting x-rays? How important would it be when they're getting chemotherapy? How important would it be when they're doing radiation? How important would it be with people who are on prescription drugs? All of this, with the waste material that's left from these treatments, the fulvic goes in and helps to eradicate this and carry it out safely without any interaction on the way out.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And the other thing about fulvic is it will load itself up, right, with the nutrition that's throughout the body that's having a hard time getting into the cells. Can you explain that and what it does?
It will, like I was saying, it will carry up to 60 elements or minerals directly into the cell. So if it's combined with the humic, like the tummy love, then it carries those nutrients in. But if it's just fulvic on its own, it will take nutrients that are in your body and bring those into the cell.
So think about this. So think about the intelligence of this millions of year old plant life, that it's able to take 60 different elements that are in the nutrition realm and then take it to your cells, lovingly drop that off, and then pick up 3 times its weight in toxicity and then take that out without you having to feel the symptoms of that because it has been in lockdown.
The other amazing thing about the fulvic acid is that the fulvic acid will go into the cell, into the mitochondria, and it will tell the cell to make more ATP energy. So besides being a chelator, it's an energy booster, and it raises the frequency of the cell to perform at its optimum performance.
So it actually comes in and it brings in a frequency, a higher life form frequency, that allows the mitochondria more energy to create more ATP.
Well, what the mitochondria needs to create the ATP is one of the things it requires is oxygen, and fulvic is molecular oxygen.
So how important is fulvic going to be when 5G or when you have Wi-Fi on, but especially 5G that runs at 60 gigahertz, and we know that the 2 oxygen molecules are sharing electrons, And with 60 gigahertz, it causes the electrons to spin at a rate that when the oxygen goes in, your hemoglobin can't pick up the oxygen properly. So
Right.
the fulvic will help to assist that,
Yep.
especially when they unleash this 5G on us.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yeah. And as I was saying earlier about all the different alphabet soup diseases, they all have something that when you get down, they do the testing, that person is short something. Like MS, they're short certain nutrients. And so when you do, like when an MS patient does the fulvic acid, most of them feel something right away because it carries the nutrition into the cell. The cell is missing that little bit of nutrition because the heavy metal that created that also restricted the.
And we're not just talking about MS, it's just an example.
Just an
we're
example,
talking
yep.
about, like you said, the alphabet soup, right from A to Z.
Yep.
You have to understand something. It doesn't matter what nutrients you're taking into your body. Once you start using the fulvic, you're talking about it actually picks it up and it makes the delivery. So it's like here, I have a parcel and I'm going to put it on the counter, but I don't have a delivery man to take it to where it needs to go. And your fulvic is your delivery man. And it doesn't just do that. It helps to increase your oxygen that you get into the cells, and it helps to deliver those nutrition in the cells. And when it gets there, like we already stated, it fills itself up 3 times its weight. There is nothing out there, nothing else out there that actually does that.
Fulvic is, like I say, it's called the miracle molecule, and for detox, it's the only safe detox. And I've had many people ask me, is it safe for pregnant mummies? It's recommended for pregnant mummies, because the other research that I've just learned recently is that if a mummy has been exposed to toxins, like through vaccines, that then her breast milk, the part of the natural immunity that she passes on to the child, isn't the same as someone who hasn't been exposed to that. She's not passing on the same immunity. So if the mother can take the fulvic and safely remove the toxins, because the baby's going to be exposed to those toxins if she's carrying them. And so if you can remove them, even when the mummy is pregnant, then
that's the thing right there. He hit it right on the head, because once you're pregnant, you can't do heavy detox. You cannot do that. But what you can do is you can do our humic, you can do our fulvic, you can do our ATP products. And guess what? You're never going to have a reaction, except a positive one, that's going to lower your toxic load, which is going to bring up your vibratory level, and it's only going to create an environment that the baby can live in and heal in and grow in.
Yes, and because the fulvic is also an excellent electrolyte, it can be used, for overall stimulation in the.
Forget Gatorade. That's what he's saying. Forget Gatorade, that is toxic, because the best electrolyte is fulvic. Fulvic is the best electrolyte that you can take to restore your electrolytes. End of story. Because it's all about delivery of those electrons, that nutrition that you need, and to bring up that vitality of your ATP again, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
The amazing thing with fulvic for rashes, for like poison oak, poison ivy, it will alleviate those symptoms. And yes, on the
Beyond Beauty
that we have, the fulvic, because it hydrates, it will help with the.
It tones, it cleans, and it delivers the nutrients deeper into your cells, and it brings the circulation back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, the Pain Away product, that's another fulvic product, and the fulvic for burns is like number one. So if you have sunburns or any kind of burn,
Any type of inflammation. whether you even have muscle inflammation, nerve inflammation, it helps to draw all that off.
Yeah,
okay,
draws out the toxins.
And
yeah.
you know what? It's not like it's drawing off on a physical. It's actually a frequency. It helps to draw it off the frequency of the inflammation. Okay, and then we also have another one called Fresh and Clean, and that's the only one I use for underarm. That's the only one you'd use for your groinal region, because it's going to actually draw off any smell. It's going to draw off the toxins, take the load off the lymph nodes, and that's really amazing.
And the amazing thing is, it stops odors instantly.
Instantly.
So
yeah.
so if you got yourself worked up and you got a stink, you can actually take that. You don't even have to go wash, and you can just squirt it on there, and it'll kill
It neutralizes
the odor.
it.
It'll neutralize the odor. Now the poison control. This is truly amazing, because they don't like for food poisoning. This is the only thing that stops food poisoning. If you go to the hospital, they're going to pump your stomach. They don't have anything to give you for food poisoning, and this will stop food poisoning in like 5 to 15 minutes. I mean, it's amazing.
And then
jet lag fuel because of the,
if you're the type of person who doesn't drink water while you're flying, because when I fly, I have tummy love, okay, and I have humic in my drinking water, in all of it. You know, when I flew back on Sunday, okay, which is just a couple of days ago, I flew back on Sunday, and it was a 22-hour flight, okay? I drank 160 ounces of water with tummy love, and also with humic in it, and even some super cinnamon that we make, essential oil. And I will tell you, I didn't eat all day, and I'll tell you, the next day I got up, and I remember flying 22 hours stuck in airports, getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 6:30 in the morning, and then doing all day Monday. You know what? I wasn't fried out. Now, if I would have eaten, and I didn't eat whole plant-based foods, and I would have eaten in the airplane and in the airport, I would have been toast. Okay, so everything is about frequency. Everything is about vibration, everyone. So you need to get that. That's really important.
And nutrition, nutrition, bioavailable nutrition in the cell is what everybody's missing. Everybody's starved. That's why we have an obese society. Everybody's trying to get the nutrition.
Everybody's full, but they're not fed. They're not getting fed on the right place.
Right.
I mean, it's going in their mouth, it's going in their stomach, as you can see, because their stomachs are really big, but it's not making it to the cell, and that's where the fulvic comes in.
The fulvic in the detox area. I mean, my first introduction to fulvic acid was a gentleman that cleaned up 200 barrels of liquid nuclear waste with fulvic acid, and the nuclear, since Fukushima went off, we're being exposed to nuclear radiation in the air on a daily basis. Now there's no taste or no smell, so most people aren't aware of that, and the news isn't talking about it. But it affects your overall immune system and lowers your immunity. So the fulvic in its bioremediation of radionuclides and heavy metals, restores you to your normal strength and your normal abilities that are shortened and affected by the nuclear that's coming in on a. Unfortunately, unless they sink Japan into the ocean, that's never going to stop.
No, that's a big problem. And you know what? It's all about learning gentle, loving steps. The problem that everybody has here is they're believing that this is something you do if you're a health nut. The reality is that we've been taught to disrespect and dishonor our body. We've been taught that a visit to the doctor is some kind of miracle cure, and we're good until the next time we go to visit. I mean, it's your body. what do you do each day that are gentle, loving steps that will keep it healthy in times of, because the true terrorism is what's going on. We're not being protected by our government. We think that medical care is health care, and we think that the food we buy in the grocery store is actually something that has been certified to actually heal or protect us, or that everybody can do it. When we look at it, 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease. It's not going to get any better. You have to understand something, that you may not believe this, but there's only 6 corporations that control 95% of all the media. They own all the food industry. The pharmaceutical industry is directly connected and actually owns the food industry. They actually own the media. So when you have to get this, that there's people in very high power that are feeding off your pain and suffering, and they don't care about you. And understand this, if you're not going to take steps at doing things like the Fulvic, that you can carry in the nutrition that you're hardly getting in the food that they provide you, and if you don't want to carry away the toxins from your own bad habits, take a look in your cupboard, take a look in your fridge, take a look in your bathroom, and tell me that you don't have a toxic lifestyle. Tell me that you have learned to only bring love home and health home. We're not even close to that. What you think is normal is abnormal. What you think is normal is not natural. It's not natural to be sick. And today, health is when you're not in the hospital. Health is not when you're not taking medication, because we know that for every 10 years that a person's alive now, they're almost taking a medication. That's right, 10 years old we start. And then by the time we're 60, we're taking 6. We think that health is being on drugs. We think that health is having a disease, but we're not in the hospital, okay? Because 92% of the population has a disease, okay? We know that 1 out of 4 children have a chronic disease. 3 out of 4 children are not well. They're not like we would call vibrantly healthy. So understand something. We're not bringing to you something that is like, if I was a health nut, I would buy Fulvic and Humic. We're bringing something that's telling you that the Fulvic is to deliver the nutrition and chelate the toxins out. And then if you did that, and then you took Humic along with that, and you were able to lock down any of these predators, viral, bacterial, or things that might come in, and balance out your hormones with the Humic, because that's what it does, and it does so many other things. Let's talk about the Humic. All right.
Well, the Fulvic is actually Humic. It's a smaller molecule of the Humic. The Humic is such a Fulvic. The Humic is such a large molecule that it puts it's called a prophylactic coating on viruses' receptor sites, and stops them from attaching to the host cell. And as far as this is a separate immunity. Like you can rebuild your own immunity, and again, that's an understanding of that. And I want to thank you for what you're doing, Darrell, with the education of the people in your DocTalk and the other talks that you do, because really we've all been uneducated when it comes down to our own bodies and how we can be happy, healthy, and holy. And it's just a matter of, and it's not just a matter. I mean, this is your life depends on really understanding what we're trying to deliver here to you. You are the doctor. You are the in control of your body vehicle, or you should be. And if you've handed control over to another authority, then you're probably going to run into trouble.
And when Joshua said you are the doctor, why don't you look up what doctor means? Doctor means teacher. And what you need to do is you need to train yourself how to look after yourself so you can teach your family, so that you can actually become the light for your family. You know, the thing is we need to take steps, and you need to understand something, that a scientific breakthrough is not a health breakthrough. A technology breakthrough is not a health breakthrough. A health breakthrough is embracing nature and seeing what nature does, and then duplicate nature and get as close to that as possible. And that's what we do with our products. And then when we find a certain product that is supposed to carry out a specific thing for the human body, we look for the best product and the highest frequency in that product. Where does it come from? Okay, how is it processed? Everything, all of this really truly matters.
So on the hormone balance, there's another factor that I've experienced with people. I've had certain individuals that have lost a ridiculous amount of weight doing the humic.
Well, as soon as you start doing the humic, and you get that hormonal balance, boom, it drops. Because believe it or not, all that weight you're putting on, it's because your hormones are out of balance, which means your inflammation is going to go through the roof. And it's the only way that it can save you from having a seizure or a heart attack or diabetes or one of the autoimmune diseases, which is over 100 of them. And so, either gain weight or have your life threatened. Right?
Right.
So understand something. You know what? Nature will always love you well. It's natural balance. And that's what we want. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm not telling you not to do anything, but I'm trying to tell you that nature has natural balance. And if you look at anything that is synthetic, what we're trying to do is we're trying to fool the body well. You can't fool the body well. Has anybody ever, fooled you? I mean, they can fool you, but how long will that last? It's going to whip back in your face. So, as soon as you decide to cozy back up with nature and have more faith in that which created you and Mother Earth, okay, then you're going to find something out. You're going to find that life is much easier than you thought, and that a lot of the fears and the anxiety and the worry that you have when you embrace mankind's 911 emergency, a pill for every ill, you're going to find out that life is truly a peaceful and a calm place. You can believe me or not believe me, but the last time that I went to the doctor for a situation was when I got a mole removed, which my mom thought would be cancerous, when I was 17 years old. So this isn't by luck of the draw. My parents both left this world before they were 55 years old. Understand something, and I'm just getting my game on. So if you believe that genetics are part of your makeup, I'm sorry, but it's not. It's epigenetics. You've got genetics, and epigenetics mean above. So you better look above and have faith, and you better understand something, that your thoughts make and shape your life, and that Mother Nature will never, ever, ever turn on you. Okay? So I'm really glad that you joined us. I hope that you take the time, if you haven't seen ATP Immunity. That's the show we did just before this show. And now, okay, with Chelation Immunization. That's what we call this. Because are we telling you that our products immunize you? No. We're talking about immunization is something that you're built with already. It's called your immune system. Okay? And I hope that you've enjoyed the show. Make sure you write your questions down, because Friday, March the 20th, which is just right in front of us, it's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to be here at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to answer all your questions on the show about ATP immunity and chelation immunization, and why the humic and the fulvic, okay, and the life crystals come together to create a pyramid. Life crystals at the top, humic fulvic at the bottom, and they create this beautiful pyramid of strength. What do you think, Joshua?
I think that's great, Darrell.
All right.
It really encapsulates the what we have and how it can benefit.
Yeah. So understand something. All we want is for you to become the family blessing, not the family curse. God bless, and I hope to see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on DocTalk Q&A. All right? And you'll be able to send your questions in live, okay? Because it's all about staying alive. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe stay connected.